We were at this restaurant, you guys, Friday, August 27th, 1 p.m., sitting right next to them. They got kicked out of the restaurant.
Hello friends, how are you guys today? I hope you guys are all having an amazing day so far. If you're not having an amazing day, I really hope that you are able to take a step back, take a few deep breaths, and I hope that helps, and I hope your day gets better from here on out. I actually just had to do that a few minutes ago, and it really did help. So I hope that you have a great day today, and welcome to my channel, you guys. Today we are going to talk a little bit more about the Gabby Petito case. I actually did a first video about this where we kind of just went through their entire cross-country trip and each stop that they took and everything like that. And now we are going to go through a little bit more about what we think happened. There's a few more videos and people came out that thinks that they saw Brian. And we're going to talk about the search for Brian, what I think happened, my opinions of what I think happened, how he got away. So why don't you guys just sit back, relax, grab a snack, and let's talk about it. Alright guys, so I want to start this video off like every other video and say thank you guys so much for clicking on this video. I really hope that you enjoy it and find it informative. If you don't enjoy it, I hope you at least give it a chance. But if you guys are returning to my channel, thank you guys so much for returning to my channel. It really means a lot to me and I appreciate it so much, you guys. You don't even know how much I appreciate it. But in the last video, we stopped off at, I think it was like September 17th or so, where Brian was reported missing by his parents. But we're going to take a couple steps back to August 27th. Now, I personally feel like August 27th is the day that what happened to Gabby happened to Gabby. I'll let you guys know. We'll talk about why I think that a little later. But on August 27th, they were in Jackson, Wyoming. And if you remember, Brian, when he hitchhiked and he got that ride, it was August 27th that night. And he wanted to go to Jackson, Wyoming. And they said they were going to go to Jackson Hole. And then he like freaked out and got out of the car and said he was going to find another ride. And the lady said it was only 10 miles. And he offered him $200 to take him. So August 27th in Jackson, Wyoming, Gabby and Brian had brunch at a restaurant called Mary Piglet's Tex-Mex. And they had brunch here. And when they dined there, they had like an altercation. And Brian was yelling at the employees and mostly the hostess. And Gabby was crying. She was apologizing for him. And he was yelling. And then she went outside and cried and sat on the sidewalk, and he kept coming inside like 4 times, they said. He kept coming inside to yell more at the hostess, and then Gabby came in, apologized for him, and they left. Now, there was a girl who made a TikTok and said she was sitting right next to them, and she describes the entire incident. And then the employees at this restaurant did confirm that yes, they were in there, it was them, and they were in there this day. So why don't we go ahead and take a look at this TikTok.
We were at this restaurant, you guys, Friday, August 27th, 1 p.m., sitting right next to them. They got kicked out of the restaurant and were fighting with the hostess. They were fighting with the hostess. She was hysterically crying. And she walked out and she was crying and she was staying on the sidewalk. And I was watching the whole thing unfold. And he walked back in the restaurant and he's fighting with the hostess. And I didn't know what happened. I don't even know if they got kicked out, but they like left abruptly. And like she was standing on the sidewalk crying and he walked back in and was like screaming at the hostess and then walked back out. And then he walked back in like 4 more times to talk to the manager and to like tell the hostess off. And like all right, I'm calming down and I'm going to try to speak more clearly. I feel like I'm gonna cry. This is so fucking weird. I went to the bath. They were sitting right next to us, like right fucking next to us. And we were both sitting right by the hostess stand, right by the front door. I went to the bathroom, I came back and they were like abruptly leaving, like something happened. At first, my first like thought was like they were displeased with the service and they were walking out, or they were trying to get out of paying their bill. But it was kind of like a scene, and the way he was acting, she was crying, she was upset. This had to have been right before she died. So she walks out, she's upset, she's crying, and he's like more angry. Like you could tell, like it's more sadness for her, and she's crying for some reason. I don't know if she was embarrassed or what, because I don't know. I put it here. I don't know what was going on. I could just see what was unfolding. And so she's standing on the sidewalk. I could see her through the front door, and she's standing on the sidewalk crying, and he walks out with her, but then like right away turns around, walks right back in, and he's, you know, kind of like violently like talking to the hostess, and you could tell he's angry, and they're just kind of like doing the whole like sorry, like we don't know what to tell you kind of thing. You could tell he was relentless. He wouldn't drop it. Whatever it was, he wouldn't drop it. He walked out. He walked back in the restaurant probably 4 more times, just to kind of make a scene and just to get his point across, which, you know, I don't know what that was. I really don't know what happened, but she just apologized. I think she was telling him, like, come on, like, just drop it, let's go. And she, like, looked at the hostess, and she was just like, I'm sorry. And that was it. And it's just like I don't even know. I don't even have words right now.
Okay, you guys, that is just so sad. It's so sad to me, and like I think about it, and like the more I think about it and the more I watch the body cam footage from both officers, I'm just like, that is classic battered woman syndrome. That is classic battered woman. Like, she's constantly upset, embarrassed by him, and she apologizes for him all the time, and she takes the fall for everything. She says it's her fault. That's just classic, and I just wish the cops could have recognized the signs, but it's really not their fault. They didn't have, like, they don't have the education, and they don't know. Let's talk more about that when we get there. I'm going to try not to ramble, but I am just really upset. This is very heartbreaking. So in my last video, I talked a little bit about how Brian's parents reported him missing, and how they said that he was at this park. He went hiking at this huge Carlton reserve, this huge resort, and he just didn't come home. He left his wallet at home. He left his cell phone at home. He went hiking and just never came back. And then a day later or so, now the parents and their lawyer came out and said that they got the days mixed up, because they said that he left on like Tuesday, but now they're saying, oh, he actually left on Monday. They thought it was Tuesday. They just got the days mixed up. So like, they're constantly changing their story. So now they're saying he left on Monday. He left on Monday now. And they went, and he didn't have a phone. They couldn't get a hold of him. They're worried. They go and they see his car, and they just happen to have a spare key, and then they decide to take his car home. They don't look for him. They just take his car home. The only means of transportation that he might have if he does come back to get home without his cell phone, and they take his car. It sounds like they're not worried about finding him because they knew he wasn't there, but they wanted to bring his car home. They didn't want his car to get towed, because then they'd have to pay to get his car back, and they don't want that. So that's just what it sounds like to me. It just sounds to me like they knew he wasn't there. They put his car there, or maybe he went there and they took him somewhere else. I don't know, but they knew he wasn't there. They didn't look for him. They didn't do anything. They just went and got his car and brought it back home. And they're saying that he's missing, and I talked in my last video a little bit about how I thought that would be the perfect way to throw law enforcement off of his scent, by saying he went here, his car was here, he's missing now, look for him here. And they're spending all this time and resources looking for him here, where he could be way over here by now. So I'm like, that's what I think happened with that. But I think he got a pretty big head start. Whoever came up with this plan, if it was him, if it was his parents, I don't think he looks that smart. Like, in the body cam footage and stuff, he seems kind of like a dummy, no offense. And I think his parents probably came up with this plan, or they all came up with it, and the sister possibly. And they came up with this plan, and it's a pretty good plan, obviously, because they were able to get him out of here. But so the neighbors said that they saw the dirty laundry parents, is what everybody's calling them, the dirty laundry parents, buy a new camper and fix it up and then go camping after Brian got home. So we know that they went camping from September 6th to the 7th. They were supposed to be there till the 8th. But now we know that they were supposed to go September 1st and they canceled that and then went on the September 6th. And I'm trying to think of why they would do that. But they didn't buy this new camper until after, a few days after Brian got home. So if they were already supposed to go on this camping trip on September 1st, what were they going to use? Because they didn't have this camper. Were they going to use like the van? And then he came home with the van and told them what happened. They're like, oh, we can't use that van, you know. I don't know. But they already had this plan. They already had it scheduled. And then they canceled that and then went and bought a camper. And then took the camper on September 6th. Well, I don't know. Let's listen to what the neighbor had to say about this.
I was doing some work in the front yard, and I noticed that they got a new camper for the back of the pickup, and I didn't think anything unusual. They got a new camper, so they wanted to put their own touch inside of it. I saw them doing some work, and then when they prepared for their trip, I saw them loading the camper.
Now you're talking about Brian and his parents after he returned home, is that correct? In a different camper?
Yes, the van is his. His father has a pickup truck which they purchased a in-bed camper,
like an attachment camper. And then you say
yes,
that they packed up that camper, Brian and his mom and dad, and they went camping. Do you know that for sure?
We saw them. I saw them loading it up, and so I assumed they were preparing for a camping trip with their new camper.
They were going for the weekend.
Yes.
So how long after he got back, alone in that white van? How long after that was this? When you saw them working on this other camper and getting ready to go away together?
Yeah, I can't remember, the dates.
Week and a half.
Yeah, probably week and a half. I agree with that.
So
yes.
did the police ever talk to you about what you saw? You saw the parents and Brian working on this new camper and then leaving for a few days? Did they ask you about that?
I believe that we did give them that information.
We did tell them that they had gone on a camping trip for 3 days
yes.
for the weekend.
Did you think there was anything unusual about that?
Well, after
we knew they were missing, after Gabby was missing, when they came to our house on Saturday night a week ago and told us they were working a missing persons case.
Yeah. Also, which struck me as odd, as I spoke to my wife about, is that the parents going on a trip, I can see that, but taking their 23-year-old son in a small camper that's on the back of the truck struck us as odd.
Okay, so that is what the neighbor said. So they bought this camper, they were fixing it up or doing whatever to it, and then they took the camper and went camping. But just sounds ridiculous to me. What were they gonna take before if they were supposed to be there on the 1st? And why did they go out and buy this camper and they put the van in the garage? And I already talked about that. I think they were probably cleaning it and bleaching it out, and that's why it was in the garage so nobody could see what they were doing to it, because they said it was always out in the driveway. So remember Brian's sister went on Good Morning America. I'm sorry, I'm everywhere, you guys. I'm just thinking a mile a minute. I'm trying to stay on my notes so I don't go everywhere. But do you remember Brian's sister Cassie was on Good Morning America, and she said that she hadn't talked to her brother. She wishes she could talk to him. And then after that, here's the video.
haven't been able to talk to him. I wish I could talk to him.
Laundrie.
Okay, so she said she has not talked to her brother. She wishes she could talk to him. But we now know that Brian already went to her house on September 1st. And then she was at the campsite with them September 6th. So she's seen her brother. She was saying she didn't. She did. But if you really want to interpret it, they asked her if she had seen her brother, and she said, I haven't talked to him. So she could try to say, well, I said I hadn't talked to him. I didn't say I didn't see him. But I mean, you guys are camping together. He's at your house. Like, what are you doing? Just staring at each other? I don't think so. But I think that Brian possibly went to his big sister's house first. On his way home, he stopped at his big sister's house first. This is my opinion, you guys. I think he stopped at his big sister's house first, told her what happened, and she was like, oh my God, we gotta talk to mom and dad. You gotta tell them what happened, and we're gonna need everybody's help on this, whatever. And then he went home and told his parents what happened, or what his version of what happened. I think he probably said something along the lines of, she was doing all this stuff and I just snapped. I had to do it. She made me do it. That's probably what he said. That's my opinion again. But whatever he told his parents, however he spun it, they decided to fix it for him. And then they immediately went and got the lawyer. So he had to have told them something. He didn't just say, I don't know where she is. I left her there. Well, why go get a lawyer? He had to have told them what happened. So they went and got the lawyer. And now, by the way, why did his sister lie? And his lawyer put out a statement basically saying that she misunderstood the question, or it was poorly imposed by the inquirer, by the people asking the question. They asked it wrong, or she didn't understand it. Like, okay, either she lied or she doesn't understand the most basic of questions. Okay, so the FBI did issue a warrant for Brian's arrest. Let's take a look at that warrant. Okay, this says, from on or about August 30th, 2021 through and including on or about September 1st, 2021, in the District of Wyoming and elsewhere, the defendant, Brian Christopher Laundrie, knowingly and with intent to defraud, used one or more unauthorized access devices, namely a Capital One bank debit card ending in 8774 and a personal identification number. So he used her bank card and her PIN number for the Capital One bank account ending in 0525 and 8665. So two different accounts. And by such conduct obtained things of value aggregating to $1,000 or more during that period, which affected interstate commerce. So his warrant is for basically stealing her money. Now, they didn't say whose money, but Gabby's parents, when they were on Dr. Phil, they did say that it was her card, it was her bank. So he stole her money, you guys. How disgusting and disrespectful is that, to not only do what you did to her, what I think you did to her, but you're also going to steal her money. That makes me so mad, you guys. So this is what they can get him on right now. So this is what they will use to bring him into custody wherever they find him, if they find him. And after they get him into custody and talk to him, they're probably going to then charge him with whatever they're going to charge him with. Murder, first-degree murder, manslaughter, whatever story he gives them, I don't know. But the FBI issued that warrant, and right when they issued that warrant, that same day, his parents decided to take a trip to Orlando. And everybody's like, why is his parents going to Orlando right after they issue this warrant, blah, blah, blah. Well, they actually went to visit Brian's lawyer. I think that's pretty interesting. Like, he's missing, you don't know where he is, you hope the FBI can find him, is what you said, and then as soon as they issue a warrant for his arrest, the first thing you do is go to his lawyer's office. I mean, why? If he's missing, like, why? You would think that you would want them to issue a warrant, that way when they do find him, they can bring him in. I don't know. So after the arrest warrant was issued and his parents went to visit his lawyer did put out a statement, and that statement says, "It is my understanding that the arrest warrant for Brian Laundrie is related to activities occurring after the death of Gabby Petito and not related to her actual demise." So that is his statement, which of course is just disgusting and so just nasty and unempathetic, and it's gross. But when I read that, I thought a little bit like, wait a minute, how do you know when Gabby actually passed away? How do you know that, like, him taking that money out was after she passed? So I kind of was like, that's a little interesting. How do you know when she passed? I mean, I don't know. I don't think they had the autopsy yet, or the cause of death. I don't think. I mean, I know they haven't shared that with anybody. I don't think they're going to share it with Brian's defense attorney before the indictment even comes up for the murder, or before they even find him. So I was like really curious as to how his attorney knew when she passed exactly. So that's just something I thought I'd mention. So John Walsh is now involved in the case. Do you guys remember John Walsh, this guy? He is from America's Most Wanted, and he is now on the case, and he says that Brian has purchased a couple of burner phones. We don't really know anything, but we do know that on September 1st, after Brian got back home, he did go to AT&T and purchase a phone from them, and then left it at home with his wallet. Now, why would he do that? That's kind of interesting to me. Like, why would he go to AT&T and purchase like a regular phone and then go get burner phones and then leave the AT&T phone there? Because if you guys remember in the body cam footage, Brian said that he didn't have a phone and that he shares a phone with Gabby, pretty much. It's Gabby's phone. But then when she had her phone in the police car talking to her parents on the phone. So she had her phone, and then when Brian left, she said to tell him to remember his charger. So if he didn't have a phone, why did he need his charger? I don't know. So either he didn't have a phone, or he did have a phone and then went and got another phone from AT&T. I don't know. I'm thinking maybe he was supposed to go get a burner phone, and then he went to AT&T and got a real phone, maybe, and then they're like, no, idiot, a burner phone. Which I don't know. I mean, I'm just thinking. Okay, so Brian and his parents and his older sister ended up going camping on September 6th through the 7th. They actually had paid until the 8th. Here's the camp records right here. So they were paid from the 6th to the 8th, but they only stayed one night and they left on the 7th. There was actually a Fort Myers family who were actually camping right next to the Laundrie family, and they have a selfie that they took where it seems like Brian is in the background of this selfie. So here's this picture, and they think that this guy right here in the back is Brian. And here's a picture of their camper right next to the Laundrie camper. So their camper was literally right next to the Laundrie's camper. So, I mean, I mentioned a little earlier why I think they probably switched the days. I think that, I don't know why. I don't know if just the parents were supposed to go camping and then Brian wasn't even supposed to go, and then he showed up, because I don't know if they were supposed to be back on September 1st or if he just abruptly left and came home. I don't think they were supposed to be back already. I think that he just abruptly left because of what he did and came home, and they were supposed to go camping that day, and after he told them what happened, they obviously can't go camping right now, so they had to cancel the camping trip or move it. And then I think they canceled it at first, and then they rebooked. They didn't reschedule. They canceled, then rebooked. So they must have canceled the camping trip, came up with this plan, and then rebooked it. This is all my opinion, by the way. I also think that he came home, told them what happened, and they need time. They need time to scrub the van clean. They need time to go get a lawyer, so they can't go camping right now. But and they went and bought a camper. So why didn't they have a camper? Why did they go buy a camper? What were they going to go camp with is what I want to know. I mean, earlier I said, were they going to use his van? But now I'm like, I don't know. Because I don't think they were supposed to be home that soon. But maybe. I don't know. Maybe. Anyways, well, no, because he tried to say they were in Yosemite. No service in Yosemite is what the text that her mom got. So were they supposed to keep camping? I don't know. But anyways, definitely let me know what you guys think down below. I'd love to know your opinions on all of this. Her phone actually went dead on the 1st. The day he got back is when her phone was shut off. That went dead. But yeah, so the chaos of all of this, and you guys are just going camping. It's so strange. Unless, of course, it was part of their plan that they came up with. And I was also thinking maybe they dropped him off there because no one actually saw Brian after the camping trip. Nobody actually ever saw Brian after that camping trip. And they saw on camera them coming in, but they didn't see Brian when they left. Now, of course, Brian could have been sleeping in the back of the camper somewhere or something like that, but they saw the whole Laundrie family come in. They didn't see Brian leave. So I wonder, like, did they drop him off there? Did they have a bunch of supplies and they, like, some people think that possibly they put the supplies, like, in the woods, because if you look at that selfie of that family where Brian was in the back, or supposedly Brian was in, like, the background, that is the woods there. Like, were they in the woods? Were they, like, putting supplies in the woods? Some people think that they dropped supplies off at certain areas. It's a possibility. But also, they booked it until the 8th and only stayed one night. Why? Why did they leave after just one night? Why didn't they stay the next night? Another thing that I want to talk about is there was 46 police calls pertaining to Brian and the Laundrie family's home in some way from September 10th to September 27th. 46 calls pertaining to Brian, his house, his parents' house. Like, now I understand a lot of those calls were probably after Gabby was reported missing, and then people were calling saying, well, I saw her on this day, or he came home this day, like calling the police and telling them things. But there was 2 calls that were on September 10th before Gabby was reported missing on the 11th. Now, one of those calls was at 4 p.m., and it says problem solved right here. It says the issue was solved, whatever that is. And the other call was at 6:30 p.m. And this one is allegedly pertaining to Gabby's father. Now, we have no idea beyond that. It doesn't actually say anything beyond that it was pertaining to her father. But I'm thinking possibly he called the police finally and asked the police to go check on Gabby's welfare because they haven't heard from her. They haven't seen her. Brian's not answering. He won't talk to them. They're worried. So he called the police and had the police go check on her welfare or something. That is what I think, because the very next day is when they reported her missing. But even if the one call was her dad at 6:30, what was the call at 4 p.m.? That's what I'm very curious. And who was that? I mean, they came out and said that the second call was Gabby's dad, so if you think that if the 4 p.m. call was like her mom or stepdad or something like that, you would think that they would say that too. So I don't really know. We don't know. But so we do know that John Walsh has gotten involved in this situation. But Dog the Bounty Hunter has also gotten involved as well. He said that he's hot on Brian's trail. But when he first started, he went to Brian's house and knocked on the door and tried to speak to Brian's dad, Brian's parents. And the mom, I don't know if it was the mom or the dad, but they actually called the cops on Dog. They called the cops on him. Now, why would they do that? If you think about it, remember they released that statement. His parents released that statement saying they didn't know where he was. The lawyer said they didn't know where he was, and they hoped that the FBI could find him because he was missing and they were worried about him. They act really strange for parents whose kid is missing, by the way. Like, they haven't looked for him once. They haven't done anything. So, I mean, I don't know. But they said they wish the FBI could find him. So, and they do know that there's a warrant out for his arrest. So if the FBI finds him, they're going to take him straight into custody. But Dog the Bounty Hunter is at their house, and he wants to ask them questions. You would think that if he's really missing, then they would want the dog to find him as well, because the dog has always had this reputation of being a nice guy, and like every time he catches somebody on his show that he had, he would be nice to them, he would talk to them, and his wife would also talk to them and like give them advice and talk about their problems, and they'd still take them to jail, but they would try to help them as well. So you would think that his parents would want anybody to find him. Who cares who it is? If he's really missing, you don't know where he is, you know, you would think you would want anybody to find him. But again, Dog keeps posting like these things on his social media account, talking about we're here and we think he's here. We're here now and we're hot on his trail. We got a lead and we're going here. I'm just thinking, this is a great way to tell Brian exactly where you're going. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. In my opinion, I don't see why they would be posting and talking about everything they're doing, because it's just telling Brian where you're at and where you're going next so he could stay ahead of you. But I mean, then again, maybe they're lying. Maybe they're putting it out there on purpose to trick him. I mean, they've been doing this for a long time. You would think that they would know what they're doing, but that was just kind of my opinion for a minute. I was like, it sounds kind of stupid. But I don't know. I'm not a bounty hunter. I don't know. Now, there has also been sightings of Brian. There was this one guy, his name is Dennis Davis, and his sighting was like the biggest one. And he says that he was on the Appalachian Trail, and he said he saw and spoke to Brian on Saturday, October 2nd at 12:30 a.m. So Friday night, last Friday night, pretty much. 12:30 a.m. in Tennessee near the North Carolina border. Now, that's kind of funny because remember, Dog also said he thought Brian was at the Appalachian Trail as well. So I was like, So here's the map right here. And the Appalachian Trail is the longest hiking only footpath in the world, ranging from Maine all the way down to Georgia. It's about 2,193 miles long, and it goes across 14 states. In North Carolina alone, the Appalachian Trail ranges for 96.4 miles and reaches elevations for up to 5,498 feet. So there's a lot of places to hide on the Appalachian Trail. That's what I think. Okay, anyway, so this guy, Dennis Davis, he was on the Appalachian Trail. He wanted to stay the night. He was driving, and he had passed the parking lot, so he wanted to make a U-turn. And when he did, he said that he saw a light or white-colored F-150 looking pickup truck. and they flashed their lights at him, and he thought they were kind of signaling for him it was okay to make his U-turn. So he made his U-turn, and when he turned around, the guy stuck his arm out the window, and Dennis stopped, and he spoke to him. He said that the driver was, he was not dirty, so he was clean, and he said that he had like a beard and mustache, and he said that his first thought was that the driver was on drugs, but when he thought about it, he said that he felt like the driver was just mentally shot. He said that he told him that him and his girlfriend got into a fight, and she called him. She's in California, and he needs to go and see her. He loves her. He needs to go see her in California. So he asked Dennis for directions to California, and Dennis told him, you can go right here on I-40 and take I-40 all the way to California. But he said the driver told him that he wanted to stay on this road and all the back roads pretty much. And they're on Waterville Road, and he wanted to just take that road all the way there. He said that he did not register that it could have been Brian until after the encounter. He then looked up pictures of Brian on his phone, and he said that he was about 95% sure that that was Brian. So he called the FBI. After he called the FBI, he went and he got some service again on his cell phone. He looked up more pictures of Brian, and he said that he was about 100% sure. And there was no doubt in his mind at all that that was Brian. So he called the FBI back again for the second time, and he also called the North Carolina and Tennessee law enforcement. He is saying that he is an engineer, he's a smart guy, he's an educated man, he has no reason to lie. Which, okay. So here is Dennis Davis's 911 call.
Haywood County 911, what's the location of your emergency?
Well, I'm on the highway right now, but I ran into Brian Lauer just a little while ago.
Okay, where did you see him at?
I was at the parking lot for the Appalachian Trail on the north side of Great Smoke.
Are you there?
Hello?
Are you still there?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Yeah, you're probably going through the gorge. You lose service every now and then. So where did you see him at?
On Waterville Road.
Okay. And just on Waterville, or did you see him near a house? Could you see a mailbox?
He was driving a truck, and I stopped and talked to him.
Was he going up Waterville or back towards 40?
He was going away from 40.
Okay. What color truck?
It was a white truck. I think it was a Ford F-150. I'm not 100% sure of that. And it was kind of a newer model. It wasn't like an old beater. It was a newer truck.
Okay. And what makes you say that it was him?
Well, first off, I was making a U-turn and in the road, and he came up behind me and he slowed down and kind of flashed his lights, like telling me, "Oh, go ahead and go, and I'm going to wait for you." And as I turned around and I'm coming back by him, he's waving his arm out of his truck, like for me to slow down.
Mm-hmm.
And I pull up next to him. I'm getting ready to go through the tunnel here. Hold on one second.
Okay.
He was talking wild. He said that his girlfriend loved him and he had to go out to California to see her. And he was asking me how to get to California. And I said, "Well, you can get on I-40 right there and drive west and you'll get there." And he said, "No, I think I can go this way," and kind of left. But he was acting funny. And I wasn't sure about what he looked like. And then I went and parked and pulled up the photographs of him. And I'm 99.99% sure that was him.
Okay. I'm going to let my sergeant know, okay?
Okay.
The Haywood County, North Carolina Sheriff's Office said that they got a call from Dennis Davis around 2:40 a.m. on Saturday morning near the Waterville Road exit. The sheriff's office also said that they received around 10 more calls and sightings on Saturday during the day and Sunday. And they said they sent a team to mile marker 7 near the Waterville exit. Now, this is kind of interesting to me because the driver, supposedly Brian, asked Davis directions to California. Now, do you guys remember the text message that Gabby's mother received where she said she did not think that it was Gabby? Well, that text said no service in Yosemite, and Yosemite is in California. Now, there's also this sticker on Gabby's van right here. Now, this was not on the van at all during the police footage on August 12th. Then it was on the van after that. And like, some people think that Brian put the sticker on the van. I don't know who put it on there, but it is referring to the Nevada Triangle, which is also in California as well. Now, the Nevada Triangle is like a Nevada, California version of the Bermuda Triangle, where there's like no service and strange things happen and people go missing and stuff like that. So I just found it odd. I don't know if it has anything to do with anything, but there's a picture on the van, a sticker on the van of this triangle, and he was also talking about California, and then he asked directions to California. So maybe he is headed to California, I don't know. But it's just a theory, I guess. And as the search for Brian continues, people have claimed to see him in like Watauga County, North Carolina. Users in a private Facebook page, Appalachian Classifieds, described out people that were reporting seeing Brian in Boone County, North Carolina as well. Now, police say they've been looking into all of those claims, but nothing has been verified. There is one more thing that I want to talk about before we end this video. Now, when I went to go pick up my daughter from school, there was another mother standing there, and she mentioned to me how she saw that I was covering this case on my channel, and she asked me if I heard about Brian's Instagram going live for 3 seconds. And this story is obviously very big. If someone, came up to me and asked me about it. So I actually hadn't heard anything about it. So I looked it up, and it is a complete fabrication. It is a total lie, and it's very upsetting that people are doing stuff like that. It was made up by a YouTuber named Joseph Morris, and he actually searched for this clip, and he played it on his channel or on his Twitter, TikTok, or whatever, and it had been proven that he actually searched this clip, and he cut this clip, and he knowingly put out false information on his channel. Here's the clip that Joseph played.
There are allegations that Brian appeared on Instagram Live accidentally for 2 to 3 seconds, and viewers saw water as if he were on a boat. Many other users witnessed this event, and that's the real reason why the FBI called off the investigation in the Florida Wildlife Refuge.
What?
The family car that was left at the Florida Reserve was a red herring to distract police so that Brian can make his getaway.
Okay, and here is the original clip that was found that was posted over a year ago.
Oh my God. Now, she's pulled and done the origin of where this came from. This was nowhere else before Brian Brian, I keep calling him Brian, because he looks like Brian. Of all the people who should be doing look-alike videos, we should be doing it on Joseph Morris, because he looks like it. But here's the clip that everyone has been sharing, thinking that Brian went live on Instagram. Guys, he didn't.
Now, I'm just bringing this up because obviously people believe it, and he's purposely spreading false information for views or whatever, and this guy has been completely caught and proven to be knowingly putting out false information, and it just completely disgusts me. It is so disgusting and disturbing and dangerous. That could hurt the search for Brian as well, and this guy needs to stop doing this. Joseph Morris, you need to stop, okay? Now, one of my favorite YouTubers, his name is Andy Signor. He has a channel called Popcorn Planet. He has been covering this case in great detail as well. And he did an entire video about this Joseph Morris guy doing this on his channel. The video is joined by Riley Lively. She is a TikToker, and Riley is actually the one who did all of the research and actually found the original clip and where it was posted and where he found it and all that stuff. So kudos to her. Good job, Riley. And I will link that video down below if you guys want to watch that as well. I will also link down below the video for the second body cam footage that came out. Now, on this body cam footage, it's a lot more telling. You get to see, I was going to play some parts in this video, but I think it would make this video a lot longer, and I think that I might want to do that in a separate video and actually talk about everything that the cops didn't notice and it just passed right by them. And if you knew about like battered woman, you would know to be able to find the signs of stuff like that. And there's a lot that they missed, and it's very upsetting. So I think we're going to do another video and go through that footage together. But I will link it down below if you guys want to watch it as well. And just trigger warning, you guys, it is very sad. It's very sad and it's very heartbreaking. Gabby's parents actually did a press conference the other day, and it was so heartwarming, so touching, so beautiful, and it was so beautiful. And Gabby's mom, her dad, her stepmom, and her stepdad, they all got tattoos on their arms that Gabby designed. And remember her tattoo that said "Let It Be"? They all got that tattoo, and her mom got Believe, right here on her arm, and they all went and did it together. It was just very beautiful, and they talked about Gabby, and they are actually going to start a foundation in Gabby's name. They don't know exactly what it's for yet, but I think that is a beautiful and great idea to keep her name alive and her spirit alive, and that's great. I don't know what they're going to do, what it's going to be for, if it's going to be for like missing persons, missing kids, like battered women, something like that. But I also think it would be a great idea for somebody to do some kind of foundation or something where they could educate cops, like regular cops, because it's not the cops' fault, because they are not trained, they're not educated to recognize signs of battered women syndrome or anything like that. So I thought, how great would it be if like we were somehow able to like start a foundation of some kind where it would teach just regular cops how to recognize the signs for battered women. Like, that would be amazing, and it could possibly help in the future a lot. But anyway, that is all I have for you guys today. I wanted to get all of the updates in for you guys and do another video, and I think we'll go ahead and do another video possibly talking about and going through some of the footage. And yeah, this is everything that's been happening since then. Let me know what you guys think about everything going on in the comment section down below. I would love to hear all of your guys' thoughts and opinions about everything that we talk about on this channel. I love having discussions with you guys and hearing your guys' thoughts, and I just said that, of course, but I love it. And if you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps, and I appreciate it so much. And if you guys have not subscribed to my channel yet, please do so. You know you want to. I would love to have you guys in the family. And don't forget to click that bell for all alerts so you don't miss any video that I post. And that is everything for today, you guys. Remember, guys, in a world where you could be anything, please be kind to each other. Love you guys. Bye.